everyone, and welcome to Shell Point Today for Wednesday, January 27th. I'm Adam Brown. On today's show, Anna Smith of FineMark Bank will talk about mobile check deposits, and Boren will give us the latest rundown of the concert series. And there's always something worth seeing at the monthly Aviation Club meeting. Tomorrow, members will gather in the Osprey Room on the island to learn about the hottest topic in aviation right now, and that's drones. Drones are unmanned aircraft that are controlled remotely. Some have cameras on them that take pictures and video. An educator from the Florida Southwestern Collegiate High School and sponsor of their Drone Academy will be the special guest. He and some of his student team members will talk about their involvement with drones and answer questions about current and future applications of these technological wonders. Following the presentation, there will be a live drone demonstration out on the island beach. The meeting begins at 1:15 in the Osprey Room tomorrow. There's still plenty of time to get that suit back from the cleaners or to tackle the shopping malls for that breathtaking dress to wear to the gala this Friday. Imagine is the theme of this year's celebration of the past year's accomplishments here at Shell Point. Hosted by the Legacy Foundation, the event will include special music entertainment from Elizabeth Von Trapp and decadent desserts, compliments of FineMark National Bank and Trust. There are 2 seatings for Friday's gala at the Village Church Auditorium, 2:45 and 6:45 p.m. If you have any questions or for more information, contact the Legacy Foundation at 466-8484. Do you remember when the only way to put money into your bank account was to get into your car and make a trip down to your local bank and wait in the really long line at the teller window just to hand them your check? And that was after you had stopped at the counter on the way in to pick up a deposit slip and to fill that out. While that is still the most popular banking practice even today, machines have afforded us other options. Thanks to the 24-hour teller machine, you can drive or walk up and with your bank card and check in hand, make your deposit anytime, day or night, weekday or weekend. But now there's an even more convenient way to deposit checks. You don't even need to leave your home. Why? You can be just on the other side of the world and still make a check deposit. But is this newest convenient way of banking right for you? Anna Smith of FineMark Bank has more to tell us about mobile check deposits in this week's FineMark Minute.
Hello, I'm Anna Smith, Managing Executive at FineMark National Bank and Trust on the island. In today's FineMark Minute, we are discussing mobile check deposits. If you bank with FineMark, you may have noticed this option on your mobile banking app. This feature allows you to scan checks from your mobile device and deposit them into your personal checking accounts electronically. The service is free of charge and is available for iPhone and Android devices. In order for this service to work, you must be signed up for FineMark Bank online banking, have an iPhone or Android device, and have the FineMark mobile banking app downloaded. The app and all its features are very secure and safe to use. Just remember to keep your username and password in a secure location. If you decide to try mobile check depositing, it's important to note the following. Checks won't automatically post to your account. Checks could take several days to be processed. You will be notified via email twice. First, once the deposit has been submitted, and second, with an approval or rejection of your deposit. You should keep any deposited checks for 30 days before shredding them. Mobile check deposit is for checks only. Other types of deposits are not accepted. If you have any questions about how this feature works, visit our office on the island or give us a call at 461-5999. With today's FineMark Minute, I'm Anna Smith.
Another fine and performing arts concert is just days away as the Duke Ellington Orchestra takes the stage at the Village Church. To hear more about the concert and the rest of this year's series, here's Boren with a Music in Motion concert series lineup.
It's that time of year when our thoughts turn to the exciting concert season, and we look forward to world-class artists bringing a unique variety of entertainment to the concert hall in our own backyard. Hi, I'm Boren, Director of Resident Life here at Shell Point. We have a unique lineup of musical and dance performers coming to our community, from instrumentalists to vocals to soloists to extravagant orchestras. It's a great privilege to have the symphony orchestra with 63 professional musicians and the new musical director, Nir Cabarati. The Southwest Florida Symphony Orchestra is ready to bring the best in classical music to Shell Point. On Thursday, February 4th, Maestro Nir Cabarati is back to lead the Southwest Florida Symphony in a symphonic folklore to include Mendelssohn, De Falla, and Copland. Look for more information and the order form in your concert series brochure or online at shellpoint.net/concerts. It's my privilege to announce the lineup for our Fine and Performing Arts series. The Duke Ellington Orchestra has been performing worldwide under the guidance of the Ellington family. Ellington's music changed the world and helped to break down the color barrier in American society through his music. Duke Ellington is regarded as one of the most prolific American composers of the 20th century. His career spans more than 50 years and included leading his orchestra, composing an exhaustible songbook, scoring movies, and composing stage musicals. Join me as we celebrate the music of the Duke Ellington Orchestra. Join us for the Hollywood Concert Orchestra, which specializes in the music that made the movies. The orchestra specializes in musical arrangements of both current and classical themes you may recognize dating back to the 1930s, or to more recent movies, such as Superman Overture, Mission Impossible, or Titanic, just to name a few. During the last decade, the Hollywood Orchestra has toured extensively throughout the United States and abroad, and we look forward to their performance here at Shell Point on Tuesday, February 9th. Our next artists are hailed as one of the premier ensembles of our time by the International Trumpet Guild Journal, as we welcome the Chicago Brass Quintet. Through the years, the quintet has rose to national prominence with the release of its first recording for Capitol Records and has performed throughout the United States, Canada, South America, and Asia. Other highlights include performances at the Kennedy Center, Eisenhower Hall at West Point Academy, and Chautauqua Institute, to name a few. They also have been broadcast on National Public Radio and the Canadian Broadcasting Company. Don't miss this premier ensemble, the Chicago Brass Quintet, on Monday, March 7th. Our final concert in our Fine and Performing Arts concert series is entitled Something Wonderful, the music of Rodgers and Hammerstein, presented by two talented Broadway Pop's international vocalists, Sarah Pfister and Sean McLaughlin. This lively Rodgers and Hammerstein tribute will feature all our favorites from Oklahoma, The Sound of Music, South Pacific, Carousel, and The King and I, so be sure to join us on Tuesday, April 5th. There's something for everyone in the Shell Point Fine and Performing Arts concert series, and many of you look forward to world-class classical musicians as we bring a unique variety of entertainment to the intimate setting of the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. Each concert begins at 7:00 p.m., followed with a meet and greet reception with our artists. Join us as we welcome the Iria Brothers duo. Pianist Joseph and violinist John each began their musical education at age 5. Their talents and gifts for music were apparent from the beginning as each advanced in their own chosen instrument. They both attended Eastman School of Music and pursued graduate studies at the Peabody Conservatory. They both currently serve on faculty at Eastman's Community Musical School. Don't miss this talented brother duo on Monday, February 22nd. In March, the De Ponte String Quartet will perform on Monday, March 14th. The quartet has gained national attention and for the past 23 years have performed across the North America and also across Europe. In 2014, they were voted as the best musical groups in Maine by many readers of the Down East magazine and performed 70+ concerts there annually besides their tour throughout the United States. That's this year's lineup of the Concert and Conversation series. We are also proud to announce that we will welcome back the Barbary Coast Dixieland Band as they return to Shell Point for their farewell concert on Tuesday, March 1st, with a special ticket price of only $15. I'm Dawn Boren, and we'll see you at the concert hall.
And now it's time to take a look at today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello, this is the happening segment of Shell Point TV, and I'm Bev Chanley, and this is Caitlin Vanscoy. We're going to tell you the activities that are going on today at Shell Point. So at 7:45, we have the men's Bible study in the Osprey Room on the island. We have pickleball at the game court at 8 o'clock. Also at 8 o'clock, we have the men's match play tennis down at the Woodlands tennis courts. At 8:45, Lilly & Company Jewelers will be here for their weekly jewelry service at the Resident Activities Center. And Jurassic Travel will be in the Egret Room from 9 to noon. Also at 9 o'clock, we have the watercolor group with Phil Hilton down in the art studio on the island. The card making and scrapbooking group will be in the Tarpon Room at 9:15. 10 o'clock is the ladies' Bible study in the Osprey Room. Also at 10 o'clock, we have the men's match play tennis at the Woodlands tennis courts. The Mall Yacht Sailing Group will be at the Woodlands Commons Lake at 10:15. And at 11:30, we have a Health Connections class, Bar Ball Edition in the Health Club. It's currently full. Well, that wraps up the morning. Here's Caitlin for the afternoon.
Thank you, Bev. We start out at 12:45 with a Health Connections class, Advanced Senior Strength in the Health Club on the island. We move to 1 o'clock for chess in the Library Lounge in the Resident Activity Center. And then at 1:15, a hearing enrichment group will be meeting in the Manatee Room on the island. The Model Train Room will be open from 1:30 to 3:30 today. That's in the Island Tunnel. And another Health Connections will occur at 1:45. It's Balance and Mobility for Beginners in the Health Club. Jazz and Stuff will be playing at 2:30 in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. That is a free concert. At 3 o'clock, Bible study will be held in the community room of King's Crown. And at 3 o'clock, another Health Connections class, Pilates Stretch in the Health Club. Indoor bocce will be available in the Health Club at 4:30. And we move to 5 o'clock for the singles table available at the Crystal Dining Room. Church choir rehearsal will be held at 5:45 in the choir room of the Village Church. And our Wednesday wraps up with prayer and praise at the Village Church at 7:15. Well, we're so happy to see you here today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Wednesday. At 9 o'clock, smartphone videography continues in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. At 1 o'clock, intermediate bridge continues in the game room at the Woodlands. At 1:15, organize your files and start shredding continues in the Technology Teaching Center on the island. And we have a new class coming up tomorrow with Professor Adrian Kerr. The Lost World of Atlantis. Come and find out. Did it exist?
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is fried chicken with baked beans, cut corn, and a biscuit. The dinner special is the All-American Buffet. The soup of the day is lima bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a chicken cheese quesadilla with fries for $7.75. The dinner special is fried shrimp for $8.75. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are New York strip with horseradish hollandaise for $19.95 or mussels marinara for $15.95. Menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here with our special guest, Charlotte Hisle. And Charlotte is a missionary, one of our international workers that works for the Christian Missionary Alliance. And you're here for our Global Impact Week, which is one of the highlights of the year here at the Village Church and in the Shell Point community. And Charlotte, we're glad to have you because you're not from around these parts. Lately, you've been in Portugal, and you've also been in Brazil. But where did you actually start your life?
I grew up in Detroit.
In Detroit?
Yeah.
Okay.
I lived there for 18 years before I moved to New York to study at Nyack College.
How about that? And so at some point in that process, the Lord led you to Him and then also into seeking an opportunity to go into full-time ministry and then into international work. Mm-hmm. And tell us about how you got to Brazil. That was your first stop, and what took you there. That's quite a story.
Well, I came to the Lord when I was 15, and after struggling a lot because my mother was sick with cancer. And finally, when I was 15, understood that God was still trustworthy, even though He doesn't explain what He's doing in our lives. And it was actually at my mom's funeral that the Lord called me into ministry, as He showed me that there's a whole world out there that didn't have the hope and peace that I have. And He wanted me to share that with other people around the world. So I went to Nyack College and studied missions, and then studied at the seminary. And
yeah, before we get too far, I think it's interesting to note that it was in that crucible of suffering that the Lord really worked in your heart, wasn't it? And then provided eventually a settledness about of your trusting Him.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was very difficult for me to trust God because I saw my mother, who loved God, trust in Him no matter what. And it made me mad, really, that she could do that. Yeah. And it was when I saw her loving God, and she shared a verse with me many, many times. The verse in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 that we all know, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him and He will direct your paths. And I saw her live that out before me, that you don't know you trust God until you don't understand what He's doing.
Isn't that amazing?
And that's where your trust
is. And the
is.
reason I want to stop you, because obviously, we're in a community where a lot of people go through some really deep waters.
Yep.
And one of the most encouraging things is to see how people walk through those times in faith, trusting the Lord, like you said about your mom, no matter what.
No matter what. And God doesn't waste anything. My mom suffered for 6 years with cancer before she died. And to our human minds, why did that have to happen? It's a waste. And yet the Lord used those 6 years to embed in me trust. That's how I learned how to trust God, was watching somebody else trust in that situation and then experiencing that God really is trustworthy in the middle of a situation like that.
Remarkable. Now, of course, then God led you to Nyack and then to Alliance Theological Seminary and prepared for ministry. So now pick up the story again as I interrupted you to how you got to Brazil.
So as I was studying through Nyack, people would say, well, so where are you going to go? Where are you going to be a missionary, Charlotte? And I would always say, I don't know. The Lord hasn't told me. And it was very frustrating to me because I thought I should know where I'm going. I've, have a bachelor's degree in this, and I'm working on a master's degree in this, and I still don't know where I'm going. But the Lord had told me, when you need to know, I'll tell you. And I was going through several interviews that you needed to go through to be a Christian Missionary Alliance missionary. And I was actually in my last interview, my pre-appointment interview. And Dave Volstead gave me the option of 4 different places. And there was Gabon, Ivory Coast, the Philippines, and Brazil. And when he started to explain what was happening in Brazil and what the ministry would be like, the Lord was crystal clear to me, Charlotte, that's where you're going. And it was so obvious to me that I thought, these men are going to think I'm crazy if I tell them, it's Brazil at the time, because I just told them I wasn't sure and that I would go. I wanted their suggestions where they thought it would be best that I would fit in. And so they gave me a week to pray about it. They said, we'll give you a week. At the end of the week, you call us and let us know where you think the Lord wants us. So during that week, I prayed, and the Lord just reaffirmed to me that it would be Brazil, and called up the headquarters and said, I really think it's going to be Brazil. And they said, well, that's good, because that's where we would have placed you if you hadn't come up to that. So the Lord just said, see, when you need to know, I will do it. I am your map. You don't need to have, the GPS system telling you where to go. I will tell you when to turn right and when to turn left. You just stay close to me.
Yeah, fabulous. Now, so you were in Brazil for how many years?
21.
21.
Just over 21
Remarkable. Years. But then now you're not in Brazil any longer. Is that the only other Portuguese company that our country, or Portuguese-speaking country, that you can go to is Portugal?
No.
You could have gone in there
for
other
the alliance
places.
that is right now.
Okay.
The Brazilian alliance has actually opened the field of Portugal. So
you're actually sort of going as a Brazilian missionary to Portugal.
Yes, the American Alliance is partnering with the Brazilian Alliance, with the Brazilian Alliance being the lead partner to open up Portugal.
Fantastic. And so you've been at Portugal how long?
In April, it will be 5 years.
5 years, fantastic. And so tell me a little bit about your ministry in Portugal.
It's very different from what it was in Brazil. I taught at the seminary and gave discipleship courses in the churches. Now in Portugal, it's almost all evangelism, just getting to know people in the community and creating avenues to share Jesus with people, to not just share the gospel with them, but to live what the gospel is before them, to show them life is a whole lot better with Jesus than without. So that's what we've tried to find, different avenues into the community so that people can see God is a reality in the world today.
More one-on-one kinds of experiences and just sort of living in the community, that kind of thing.
Yes, I've had teas at my home. I have sardine bake in June, sardine roast, which is really popular in the culture.
I can say we haven't tried the sardine roast here at
You
Shell
should try it. They're great. They're not the little sardines. They're the big fresh sardines. They're really good. They're really good.
Fantastic. Well, it's been great to get to know you during this week, and just to also share with our community some various dimensions of how you got where you are and how the Lord has led you. It's always a special pleasure. Thank you for being here, Charlotte. It's been a great week, and we look forward to hearing wonderful things when you as you continue your home service this rest of the spring and then go back to Portugal.
And thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. It's been great.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us for Village Church Connections, and we hope to see you soon.
Thanks for joining us on today's program. On tomorrow's show, Sandy Ehlers will give us a preview of an academy class on personal peace. We'll meet the new Director of Spiritual Services and all the Shell Point chaplains on staff that are available for you. Until then, I'm Adam Brown, and this has been Shell Point Today for Wednesday, January 27th. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.